Dan with Guardian Mold Prevent. Want to take a look with you at a property that is located in Tinley Park, Illinois. This is a property that was foreclosed on. The bank assumed possession of the property. There was a water incident where water got into the basement, sat for several days, and then was removed. And subsequently, you can see that there has been an extreme case of mold that has developed in this basement. It's essentially growing on the walls and the drywall material, the insulation, the trim, and this basement has got a major infestation. You can see that it's black in color, the majority of it, but there are several other colors that you'll see as we pan around. There's no doubt that this is Stachybotrys, which is considered to be toxic black mold, and the bank is looking to sell this property, so ultimately they need to get the mold removed. They had us out to take a look at it. We gave them an estimate on mold removal, as we offer free estimates, and the bank decided to go ahead and have the mold in this basement removed. Now, obviously, you're not going to have this type of a problem in your own basement if you get water, because most likely you will get on top of the moisture problem right away, and you will try to avoid this type of a scenario. But there's no doubt that when drywall gets wet, if it's not dried out in a timely fashion, you can end up with quite a bit of mold down there, and you may not get this extreme of an issue, but you may end up with mold growing at the base of your walls, and sometimes behind the trim, which is a good place for moisture to get trapped. And then you get mold growth. Now let's talk about some terminology here. First, you've got porous material. That's things like drywall, trim, insulation, fiberboard, paneling. These are items that essentially need to be removed during a mold remediation project. There's no way to get mold out of them or remove mold from them. Then you have semi-porous materials, which are framing members like the stud framing, the wood, and non-porous materials like concrete, hard surfaces that don't have any pores to them. The process normally consists of setting up a containment area, in this case sealing off the basement, putting in negative air machines to run all the air through HEPA filtration. We then remove and discard all of the porous materials, so the things we talked about, the drywall, the trim, insulation, paneling. Then we treat all of the semi-porous and non-porous surfaces with a biocide, which is a product that kills mold on contact. We physically scrub them down, and then we treat them with a white acrylic-based mold-resistant coating. Now we're looking at the footage here of the same basement we were just looking at before, after the mold remediation has been completed. You'll see now that all of the drywall, the trim, the insulation, the paneling, all of those items have been removed. They were bagged, tied up, and discarded in the proper manner. During the project, we put in air machines or negative air machines or air scrubbers, which run all the air through HEPA filtration, and it also keeps the air from exchanging with the living space while we're working, so we don't end up with poor air quality on the upper levels because the mold project was mishandled in the basement. Very common problem to run into when you're dealing with Joe Handyman, who claims that he can do a mold remediation project for you but is not qualified to remove mold. They will end up causing bigger issues when it comes to air quality because they do not protect the basement. We then treated everything with a biocide. It's a liquid product, kills mold on contact, and then we physically scrub down the surfaces of all the framing here and the concrete. Then we treated everything with a white acrylic-based mold-resistant coating. It protects the items that are sprayed from potential regrowth of mold. We leave the air machines running overnight, come back the next day, and pull everything back out.